Yeah, kind of. Yes.
Okay, my name is Amide. I'm from Nigeria.
Okay.
So I studied zoology,
Okay. And
but I had a third class. I don't know if there's any course or any school that can accept third class.
so what we are doing right now, I can understand where you're coming from. We are not looking at a class that you've gotten. I just want to know what you study and what you want to study. That is something we can talk about later.
Okay, okay.
So what do you want to study?
What I have in mind now to do is if there's no school to accept third class, I'm willing to start another course in like to start an undergraduate program.
Oh, okay, okay, got it.
So
Um,
in nursing,
you said nursing.
yes.
Okay, okay. Yes. Who is here to introduce him or herself? If you're just joining, we are doing introduction because we want to start off, but I think I need to know you guys. It's not like I'm just going to say something here and that's it. I want to know you guys.
Hello,
So, yes, hello.
you can you hear me? Yeah. For introduction, my name is Abdul Samoa, and I am from Sierra Leone. And I study information system at the University of Sierra Leone.
Yes, so what do you want to study?
I want to pursue masters in computer science.
Masters in computer science. Okay. Anyone else?
Hello,
Hi.
yes, I'm Abu Sise. I study BSc in nursing from Jala University. I'm from Sierra Leone, and I want to pursue a master's in public health.
Okay. Yes, anyone else? When you guys were joining, did they ask you for meeting ID? I don't think so.
No,
Why?
No, they
no.
asked me
I
for
don't
name.
know.
It's
So we
personal,
just
so
join straight.
exactly.
Just
Yes.
click
I
on
think
the ID you gave
you just
and join.
accept us.
For me, I was asked to give name. I entered my name.
Okay, okay, that's different. Anyone else? Let's start off. Okay. So whoever join now, will just and I've seen the name on the comment section or the chat. Modinat, is that the name? So I'll just share my screen and okay, to show you guys what we'll be looking at today. So this is a 1 week training. Just like I said, guided through the process of applying a lot, basically. Something I had to do myself before. Can you all see my screen? Okay, perfect. So
Yes.
um we've done the introduction, name, country, cause, and so we are going to look at expectations. Okay, I'll do most of the talking, and this is how it's going to look like. So maybe for the next 45 minutes or so or less, I'll be doing most of the talking, and 15 minutes. Oh, I need to get my power. 15 minutes or so, then I'll give you guys time for you to ask questions, or you can stop me while maybe I think that would be the best because I want this training to be an interactive session. Please, guys, give me a minute. So I think we're all set now. So as you can see, I'll just give you a brief of all what we'll be looking at for from now to Sunday. This is day one. And for day two, we'll look at this is day two. We'll look at the application timeline. So I'll just look at the heading, basically, Introduction to Studying in the U.S. I will dive into each of these subheadings come their own days. And for day two, we're looking at application timeline and required documents. Then day three, we'll look at scholarship, assistantship, and funding. Day four, we'll look at SOPs, CVs, and cold emailing professors or graduate coordinators. Then that's day four. Day five, we're looking at standardized tests and English proficiency. Then the next day, which is day six, visas, OPT or CPT, and work rights in the US. Okay, someone yes. Then the last day, which is day seven, we'll look at life in the US or final recap. So we'll look at almost everything that I know, and if I don't forget, everything that I have learned within the process. I want to make you guys be an expatriate in the process. So, like, you'll be able to handle all of this on your own. You don't need anyone, you don't need to pay anybody. You should be able to navigate the whole process yourself, as I have done during my time. I did a training and I had to pay money actually. But again, it's what it's today. And if I tell you guys how much I paid, some of you will be like, I will never pay short. But my expectations, and that's the area I will soon talk about, the expectations from this training. And so let's forget about what I paid for this training. But what I want to tell you, the expectations here, I'm not going to give you like scholarships to say, well, like once you are done, you get your scholarship. No, that's not what I'm doing. I want to show you the process for you to be independent. In this whole process of applying, there's a lot of applying to US universities, everything you need to know, scholarship, how to search for them, how to research universities, almost everything that you need for you to be independent in this whole process and settling in the US. So you are kind of like seeing yourself already in the US, basically. And that is it. So, yes, of course, put your expectations high, but don't have it in your mind. The only thing you have in your mind is this. After this, if you put in the hard work, you should be able to figure out ways for you to apply to universities, reach out, just like all the topics we'll be looking at, we'll discuss. You should be confident enough to navigate the whole process. And that's the most important thing. Like when most people reach out to you, like some people will ask different questions. What are the documents? Where do I start? The process is cumbersome or this and that. And that is where I am coming in to be so simplify the whole process for you guys to make it easy. Okay? So the expectations for you to be able to understand the whole process. That is it. Let's just get that. Now, I just want to throw this question to you guys. Of course, our focus is US. I'm not answering any other question for any country. This particular training, if you have any other question, check my videos, put a comment, and I should be able to respond to you as well if you aim at looking at any other country. Okay? I know, of course, there are restrictions, there are other things right now, but I'm looking at the future, not what is happening today. So if I ask you guys, why do you want to study in the US? What will be honest answers? Like, if you can type it, okay. If you can say it, then why US? Why not other countries? Why do you want that degree certificate? Why do you want to come to US?
Hello. So
Yes.
if I can give like for me,
Mm-hmm.
um, my program, the program that I want to study is a
Mm-hmm.
master's in, and after going to do some research, I came to realize that the US has majority of the first class public health university universities that offer a first class standard upgrade program. So choosing one of those universities and studying in one of them, I think it can place me in a better position to achieve my dream of working in one of those
Okay. So you are
standard.
okay.
Yeah,
I got that. Please, what I'm trying to do here, it's not like I just want us to have an interactive session. Um, I don't want you to see it as a burden. If you can't see anything, it's okay. It's not compulsory, except maybe for some exercise I would want you guys to do, then definitely you have to do them. Yes, because that's the only way you can learn. And we are here to learn. We are here as a community. Okay. Yes.
yeah,
So of course I have some points. Why the US? Maybe global reputation. We all know if you school in the US, like your certificate or your degree is accepted in any part of this world, right? You all will agree with me. That is just the thing. Of course, like opportunities as well. And we all know, yes, some people may want to come here and study, go back to their countries, but how many people? Some people want good life, and maybe this is the route as students, which is why at a stage in my life, I know, of course, like one day I'm going to leave my country. The fact that I'm schooling, I believe in that, and I knew that would actually help me for me to travel. US was part of my list. I have other countries. I want my aim was actually to go to Australia. Australia has been in my mind for so long. And the reason being I just wanted to go somewhere that is not like popular to other countries. Most people say US, 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 yes. But yes, it was part of my list. So if you are dreaming, just keep dreaming. I'm just like you. Who is this? Please give me. So I'm just like you, someone from, trust me, abject poverty, like the country. Forget about the country or the family. So for me to be here, I graduate from a private university, um, one of the best universities in the US. It all boils down to dream and determination, which is why I want to show you guys how to fish, so you'll be able to do this process. This process is difficult, and I get that. But it doesn't mean because I have passed through certain things, I need to allow other people as well for them to, which is why I was so motivated creating this whole channel to help people like you to navigate this process. So of course, we look at the repetition, research opportunities, finding it difficult to join. Haven't I admitted you? Anyways, I don't know what I can do. It should be in now. Okay, so that is it. And diversity. I've been here, and I don't think if there has been a day wherein I know it happens, but for me personally, I don't think if I it has been a day wherein like someone talked to me in a way I feel like they have been racist to me basically. It has been smooth from school days. Everybody wants to talk to in my own school. Okay, I am just speaking from my experience, and even out of school, like people you meet, I don't know because US is made of different people, different countries, different nationalities, citizens. So maybe if you go to other countries, it's a different case. Okay, now, what is this? So now, I just want us to look at the US. educational system overview. Of course, most of the things we know them, but I want us, and I don't want you guys to feel overwhelmed. As you've seen, I've given you a rundown of all what we are looking at. Some of you just want us to go now. Okay, let's research universities. Let's find this. You have already what is in your mind, what you want to figure out. And maybe if I'm not doing it right now, you might feel like bored. But this is going to help you a lot. I believe so. Going forward. So if we just look at the overview, of course, we all know um, they have undergrad, like the undergrad, they have associate, bachelors, graduate, of course, masters, and Ph.D. So for those of you who may not know, when we say associate degrees, these are 2 years, more like diplomas or so. Okay, so it's like, but it's below bachelors. So you start there, and after 2 years, some people will get a job straight from just getting an associate degree for 2 years, and some people may have to do um 4 years. So associate degrees, most often you get them from community colleges. Okay, these are just small size communities, colleges rather. So of course they are accredited, but their curriculum is not that as cumbersome as compared to universities. So you find like community college where maybe you just do arts studies or other minor courses. Okay. I'm not saying art is a minor, basically, but that's it. So from there, we have bachelors, which of course most of you know. It's a 4 years. Of course, for graduates, like for masters, we have two types of master's degree you can do. One is called the course-based masters or professional masters, and I will explain. Then the other one is the research-based masters. So when we say the course-based or the professional masters, it's that master's degree that you just, it's more like undergrad, okay? You go to the university, you take courses, you sit exams, and that's it, basically. But for research now, you're basically going to look at a particular topic that you want to, and most often for those in the medical field or yes, like STEM courses. Even though I know people in the law area as well do research. So you find out about something, right? Maybe what is the cause of the, let's say, which disease? Is it corona? Or was that a pandemic? Whatever it is you want to figure out. So it's a research. Even though, even if you are doing a research, you will still be doing, you will still be taking some courses as well. So you have minimum courses that you have to meet for you to graduate, but at the end of your research program, you have to present a paper, which is the main difference between doing a research-based master's to that of a professional. For professional like us, my degree, okay, I do assignments, I do test, then I take exams, and that is it. Throughout the 4 semesters or many semesters so far, you have to be in that school. While for so there is more work for research-based masters. You do all of these things, but yet still you have to work with a professor to do a research. Now let's look at the advantages of these two, since most of the people have, of course, I don't want to forget about bachelors, but whoever, if you're here as wanting to do as wanting to do a bachelor's degree, of course, I'm sure you'll be able to gain as well from this conversation. Okay, so the advantage of doing a research-based master's is this. Most of the funding, like, are allocated to those that are doing research, be it a PhD or be it a master's. So if you're coming in for masters, what by research, what happens is that no, at the beginning of every academic year, if it's be it a federal university or be it a private university, when I say federal, meaning government, public, what happens like if a government institution they give grants to universities, and universities will distribute this money to faculties within the university, then from faculties to departments. So you say engineering, then from engineering, they distribute that to those that are doing civil, electrical, mechanical. Okay. So those monies are distributed, and professors with their head, they will have conversations. If I have a research, if I am the professor, I will meet the head. Okay, I have this thing I want to find out about. And they will look at it. If that is something that is good for either the universities, then they will give that professor some money. Like they will not give it to him or her physically, but they know that there is specific amount allocated for that particular research. So now you as a student, you have the same thing in mind. Maybe you want to find out about whatever it is, or a key about sickle cell or whatever it is. So you go to the university website, you research about the professor. What is this? Okay. So you research about the professor, then you find out that what they are doing is something that interests you or something you have knowledge of, something like that. Now, sometimes for some schools, you first of all have to identify a professor. You have to reach out to them, and the professor will be ready. You must have received an email from the professor saying, okay, I'm ready to supervise you, something like that. Sometimes that is not the case. You just reach out maybe to the program coordinator. You express your interest that I want to do a master's by research, and they will tell you, okay, just submit your application. And when you submit your application, the professors will have time to sit. They will look at what you've written, maybe on your SOP or personal statement or the document you've submitted. Most times they'll ask you like a if there's uh, so most often who is that? Can you just mute? So most often they will ask them, they will just ask you as the student, if you are doing application, they will ask you what type of masters do you want? Is it a research based or professional? So based on what you've selected, that is how they will assess your application. And if it's a master's by research, once you submit your application and you receive offer letter, it's can you that this name is very difficult. Bravo. Please mute.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So
Wait, Becky, wait.
thank you. Please mute. So most often, if you receive an offer letter for a research-based master's, if that's what you've applied, you receive either full funding or partial funding. But most often you receive like full funding, wherein you don't have to pay any tuition fee and you'll be given a stipend in the exchange of you doing the research. Because you are doing the research, even though it's for you, but for the university, for a professor, you are working under the supervision of a professor. Okay. And universities in the US are ranked based on their research, based on what they can produce. That's how they are ranked. And that's how they allocate funding for the next. So if like let's say University A has done some serious research this academic year, of course they rank universities. So maybe based on the rank, they will allocate the resources to them. Okay, especially for public universities. For private as well, they know the way they do that as well. Maybe by department. Okay, this department is doing a remarkable job, so let's allocate more funding. So it's more like a competition, which is why most often, and students don't know this, yes, but if you are really hardworking, like you know your subject area, the reason why, in fact, the reason why universities in the US have what we call admission webinars sessions, they are basically trying to. It's more like a competition. They want to get the best students in their universities. So it's they are competing. all universities, they want to get the best student, they want to admit the best student because you have to do, especially like for research based masters, because if you've done a good research, a particular topic, then it's good for the university, which is why you are paid actually in exchange of you doing the research. Sometimes it's more like 50%. They will say, okay, you don't have to pay for the first semester, second semester, or whatsoever it is. Then maybe the last semester you will have to pay. But 90% of the time, sorry, it's fully funded and you'll be given a stipend. Now, but the competition is really, really high. Yes, some of us are not fortunate to have done research, like the, deep research, except maybe for our project, final year project. But if you are fortunate to have done a research, actually our countries, like we don't even publish sometimes all of these things. We don't do them. But if your topic is really good, you've done so well in your undergrad, and it's something that is amazing, you may want to try a research-based master's. But that is it. However, now let's go to professional. For professional now, yes, you get full funding, but I think maybe I will just mix up things because I know most of the things we'll talk about them more. I don't know what I can do for these people that want to join. I don't know. This message me too. I don't know what I can do. Basically, I think you just have to click, just like most of you guys have done. Okay. So for the professional now, you have different type of scholarship. Same for research-based masters as well. You have like maybe once you're admitted, we have what to call the automatic, and that's how you get those scholarship based on your what you've done so far. And most of these will look at them on their very day. Like I think I don't know which day is that we are talking about assistantship, all of this. So I don't want to dive deep into that. Okay, just to clarify the difference between your research-based masters and the professional, and I guess that's clear. So, of course, if there's anyone here wanting to do a PhD, sometimes some universities allow students, if you've done really, really well and you're good, like you can move from bachelor's direct to a PhD without going the masters. There is no hard and fast rule that says you need to get a master's before a PhD. So some universities accept students from bachelor's direct to a PhD. So it's all up to you to decide whether it's something you want to. It's a viable option. But the good thing is this: for all PhDs, okay, let me be on the safer side. 99% of PhD students that are here are fully funded. It's a 4 years. So it takes time and the money involved is so much. So, which is why if you're a PhD candidate applying for a PhD, if you see once you receive that, congratulations, you just have to dance because it's fully funded and you'll be given a stipend, like living um stipend. Okay, so that's it. If that's an option, but you really have to be like really, really smart or reach out, like you have to be able to convince the professors or depend on which university. Okay, so that's it. Let me just get that. Now, the next thing I want us to look at, not our luck day, I guess. I don't know what I should do. Maybe they should check their phones. So now let's look at the next thing, which is the fall and the spring intake. The key difference. So for fall semester starts August or September intake. For the spring semester, of course, is January intake. The main semester actually, like where you have so many students admitted, is the fall semester. That's the time you have lots and lots of scholarship opportunities. There's a lot happening during the fall, which is why you sometimes prefer, and you have most programs. There are certain programs that are not opening to application during the spring semester, but for fall, all of these programs are open most often. So you have most programs, most scholarship is the main intake. Okay. Research positions are so many assistantships during the fall intake. It's like the beginning of the academic year, basically. I think the only difference between us, like from Africa, because I think everybody that is here is from Africa, we just have like, I don't know if there are other countries that do admit students like two times per the academic year. I don't know if any of you guys have been able to experience that. For us, it's just one period, and that will be like October or yeah, September, October. And once that is done, unless you have to wait for another year. So that's it. So basically, they are doing the spring semester because there are certain students that may not have gotten the opportunity to be admitted during the fall semester. They want to cater for them to come in, just like I came in US in the US, like the spring semester. But the main intake is fall. So if you're looking at scholarship, you're looking at all of these, yes, fall is good. But that doesn't mean that even the spring semester, of course, smaller intake, you have fewer programs open. But again, it's a good option if in case you miss out on the fall semester. And you can get assistantship positions as well. You can get everything. But I'm just looking at which one is more than the other. Okay? So I guess that is it about the fall and the spring intake. So if you are planning to come to US or you want to study here, let's say spring semester, which is January, you should start like your preparation, even start reaching out. As soon as the fall semester closes, like start the classes start. Let's say I've just said it's August and September. So by October, in fact, October, yeah, yes, by October, which is like a short period for the spring semester, because you are coming in by January, right? Or December, in fact, some people must have done their interviews. So just after the fall semester closes, you should start reaching out to universities for, let's say, assistantship positions, or whatever questions you have at the end of or at the beginning of October. So by November, you must have gotten the universities, you must have applied, which is why they have what we call priority deadlines. And this is key. I need to mention that. So priority deadlines gives you scholarship as well. It doesn't mean your degree that you have. So some universities, and I will talk about this in detail, but some universities, just like I told you initially, the competition is high. We are all in competition. The universities, they want to admit the best student. So if they see a candidate who has made an effort to actually go to the university websites earlier and try to reach out, submit applications, they may want to satisfy them first. Okay. So it's more like, even in terms of scholarship, sometimes it's first come, first served. So, which is why priority deadlines are key. You need to know the priority deadlines to apply to universities. But you can only know this if you start early. Most time for spring semester, the and this is something maybe you should write. For the spring semester, November, like November 15 or so, most times you get like priority deadlines, you know, at the end of October now. So if you apply before November 15 or so, most often you stand a chance to get scholarship opportunities, but once November passes, like you are going now to December, yes, there are some universities can still consider your application, but for a priority deadline, and priority deadlines are there for scholarship consideration. So if you apply by a priority deadline, you have the opportunity to get a scholarship. So someone who has, let's say, a first class degree, and you have like the person who's talk about third class, but you've done your homework very well. You've reached out earlier, maybe because the okay. When it comes to applying to US universities, and please just put me on track in case I'm going out of track, so I won't forget what I was saying. They are looking at, it's not just about grades, and I want you to know this. So I'm talking to the person who said who mentioned the third class. It's not just about grades. They look at different things. Because what they believe in, sometimes whilst you were in school, there must be something that happened to you that made you not to be able to get that type of degree that even you wished for. So they don't just look at just the degree that you have, let's say your GPA. No. So let's say if you're someone with a very low GPA, but let's say you've done some community engagement, let's say even for this scholarship right now that I'm about to upload on my YouTube channel, McCall McBain scholarship. Yes, they look at GPA, but there are other facets like leadership. Are you someone who has initiatives? What have you done in your community? So many other things, you know. And sometimes you tell people for them to look more than just, which is why you have to back it up with maybe like test scores, which is something we'll discuss as well. So it's not just about your GPA. Yes, some people can get like 3.8 over 4.0. You that has lower GPA can still get a fully funded scholarship, while that person with even with his GPA will not get. And it's funny, but these things happen. So your proactiveness and what's your application is made up of will make you a good candidate for scholarship consideration, even for admission. Okay, so let that your GPA don't discourage you. There are ways to um supplement your low GPA. Okay. And if you think maybe your GPA is enough, then you have to think again. You know, the only good thing maybe you will get is that you get so many admissions, especially because most often some universities will not go down below a particular GPA. So maybe that will be the advantage. But when it comes to scholarship, they look at so many other things. Okay. So let's just get that. So priority deadlines, let me come back. Priority deadlines are key. Know them. And for like fall semester, which starts August. So once we have like, yeah, for March now, if you're applying by March, I'm joined thanks. Okay. By March, you know, April, within those um month, you have like priority deadlines to be considered for scholarship. Okay. Now, okay, maybe I must have left something, but anyways, you guys will ask me questions. So for public and private university, this is just evident. And most of you have been like high school, you say private school and a public school. Yeah. So,
Yes, please,
so
please. I think I missed out on this spring semester. You say the priority deadline again for
I
spring.
said most often like before November 15. So if you apply before November 15, most often you see like November 15 priority deadline for the spring
Okay,
semester.
okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. So of course, so for public and private universities, now this is the thing. Of course, we know public are owned by the government, or say because it's U.S.A, let's say federal, the state. Then for private, these are just like people, maybe two or three people who come together and start an institution. Okay, then you have like alumni helping as well, and they have different people, board of trustees, board of this and that. So the president. So for public now, it's different, even though you have leaders, but um, the head is basically the government. Now, what are the advantages of going to a public university and that of a private university? Now, let's start with in terms of the funding. Okay. Now, for public university, they are funded by, of course, we say government, and for private, is privately funded. But now, you as a student, when it comes in terms of funding, right? For public as compared to private, so for public, sometimes they are limited, really, like in terms of the scholarship they give to students may be limited barely for international students. For domestic students, it's a different case. But so let's don't talk about domestic students since you are all international students. So in terms of financial aid, private universities out of 100%, 60% or 70, in fact, private university give more scholarship as compared to public. Okay, so in terms of funding, but now this is the thing. What about in terms of cost of attendance? Of course, private universities are more expensive. Okay, like the school I attended is one of the it's one of the most expensive universities. Like for academic year, around 88,000 some hundred. So for the entire duration, it's over $100,000. So it's expensive. But like you meet some public universities where like the total will be around 30,000 or even below. Okay. So, but now this is the thing, as I told you, in terms of scholarship, the private universities give more most often. I'm not saying they are like the public universities don't give, but private universities do give more. And sometimes the competition is less as compared to the public universities. Because public universities are less expensive, most students tend to go to public universities, which of course, yes. So you as an international student, you have to look at both the pros and cons of whether applying to a private university or applying to a public university. Now, when it comes in terms of like, I know, let me just break the ice in terms of jobs. Like, yes, maybe based on the alumni network, if you graduate from a university like mine, maybe you get a job easier, maybe. But the truth is that if you are looking for jobs, you have to work. You really have to work very hard to get that. So it doesn't matter the university, okay, in terms of getting the job. So let's know that. So if I would advise you, first of all, which is why this is something we have to look at as well on this training, before you apply to university, be sure to check the cost of attendance. So in case you get a scholarship, you know that you've already prepared your mind. Okay, in case I get, let's say, whatever amount, now I should either from a family member or use a student loan or whatever it is to cover the remaining. Something like so you know ahead already. Some people will just go to university, apply. Okay, maybe the university will say they will give like $20,000. You see it as like a lot and lots of money, right? Maybe for the 2 years you get like 40,000. Let's just say. But so if you go to a university, let me ask: if you go to a university that is, let's say, $80,000 per year, and your program is 2 years, meaning let's say full 2 years, so meaning you have to pay 160,000, but that university gives like $50,000 scholarship. You get that? Or let's say $70,000. Let me just put it $70,000. So that means you still have like 130, right? As a gap. Now let's say for a public university is $35,000, right? But they only give you let's say $15,000. So in terms of course, you may tend to lean to the public university, right? So the scholarship, even though you've gotten high amount in terms of private university, but yet what is left for you to cover is so much. So these are all some of the things we'll be looking at as well. Before you apply to university, look at the pros and cons, look at this. Okay, if I get this scholarship, because definitely we'll be able to find out by the end of this training, you know that if a university offers a scholarship before even you apply to it, whether they have merit-based scholarship, whether they have automatic scholarship, or whether they offer assistantship, whether you have a chance of getting one, you should know all of that before you even apply. You must have received positive response from either the graduate coordinator or whosoever it is. If you're doing the research, you must have received from the professor or whosoever is responsible before you put in application. Because I have seen, and most of us, sometimes it is just good not to get offer letter than getting an offer letter and not able to proceed. I have been in that situation and I know what I went through. You all will agree with me sometimes. Trust me. When I got some of the offers, like you look on your left, you look on your right, and there is no one to cover the remaining. That's the time you will know how deep it is. Like you see yourself, okay, I've gotten offer letter from this university. You'll be so happy. But now where will you get the remaining amount? The gap. It's so heartbroken. So you knowing all of this before even applying puts you in a good position already. And this is something we'll talk about. So by the time you leave, we are done with this training, you guys will be really happy enough that you've taken this step. This is not my very first time. I think I've tried this. This is maybe the most one of the most successful um posts I've put out there, like just to explain to people how this whole process and help them. Okay. So I hope you'll be able to understand that. So this is just tied down to the last part. Let me don't sleep on these public universities. And the other thing, of course, in terms of size, tuition fee, I've mentioned that for public, they are always lower compared to private. And in terms of the size, of course, public, anything that's public, you expect lots and lots of people to be there. So let's don't sleep on that. Now, the next thing, of course, the cost of study and living overview. It's more like the same thing. You know, if the cost of attendance, meaning living, living expenses, in your tuition and fees, all are within your cost of study. So, of course, if the cost of attendance is low, you would expect these other things to be lower, you know, as compared to private. But when it comes to where to live, it doesn't matter because each state or town is different. So if you're someone who wants to live maybe closer to campus, some of the tenants will charge you higher, okay, as compared to someone who lives like maybe 30 minutes to campus, unless you have to take a bus. That is just the thing, okay? And so this is just an intro, as you've seen there, just to give you an overview of how things work. And we'll look at the different areas. Of course, I think I waited for some time. So it was almost maybe 45 minutes. I wanted to just have, just to give you an overview of this. So now this is one thing I want you to do. I don't know, maybe if this is too early for me to give you this exercise, you don't have to do it here. So if you are joining tomorrow, you have to, maybe this will be like where we start off to look at two universities. But again, we've not done that. But just want to see if you can make the effort and just give me two reasons each as to why that university. If you can do that, then that will be helpful for me to see where you're heading to. And if I have to help you personally, I know where I'll be coming from. Okay. So at this moment, I just want to open the floor for you guys to ask, let's say in the next 10 minutes or so, ask questions, anything so far, whether it's not something we've talked about or it's something we've talked about, then I'm here to answer your questions. And if we don't have questions, then we'll call it a day. And tomorrow, let me just give you an overview of what we are going to look at so you know what we'll be doing. We'll look at the timeline. Of course, I think I've mentioned this one already a bit. We'll look at key documents and how I think so tomorrow we may have lots and lots to do, especially like the resume or CV, the formats for admissions, statement of purpose, personal statement, common app, university portals, where to apply, how to check in for application fee waivers. Then you will have to create a personal application checklist. So that's it. That's the end for today. You guys
Well,
can
sorry,
make questions.
before you go, Gibo,
Mm-hmm. I'm
yeah,
here.
my question is regarding can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
Yeah, my question is regarding the graduate assistantship
Yep.
because like for my own school, I don't know if it's if it's still like, is it still possible for me to apply now? Because the last time I checked the
Apply for, you mean
websites
for
for GA position.
yes, for GA position for the fall semester?
Yeah, yeah, yes, for the first semester.
Yeah, go on, ask your question.
Okay, because when I checked the websites,
Mm-hmm.
they said it is still available until applied, something like that.
Until what?
Until like last time I checked, they said it is still available. So
Well,
that was
if it is still available, most often what I tell people always don't go there. Um, like always try to reach out.
oh, okay.
Just about communication. Communicate to the guided coordinator. I have checked the website. I don't know because it's like this is June. We still have some time. Of course, there are many universities that are still accepting applications and they're still considering students. Yes, they are there. The US has so many universities, so just reach out if you have a green light for you to apply for GA positions, then some universities that anyways when we get there, I'll explain more. Some you just fill in a form, some they just have to look at you and look at how what, the application you've submitted for them to decide on whom to give.
Okay.
Some they have to look at test scores, so there are different ways they evaluate as to whom to give assistantship. But when we get there, I will explain more.
Okay. Although I have another question because
Yep.
regarding the job, because because some of us, like for me now, I applied for, like, I'm using MPOWER. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So because earlier you said getting a job there is not easy,
Mm-hmm.
because looking at the principle of the particular amount in which I'm going to get from Empower, because like when you made the statement,
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about, make, like, how will I, paying back such amount of money. I don't know if I have this, fear. I don't, because I know that everything is possible,
Fine. Okay.
when
Fine.
when we get there.
Well, that's one thing you should have in your mind. But what
Yeah.
I tell people, and whosoever, whether you're planning to use Empower, we've not gone to that. But let me just say this: this is the belief you should have. Forget about. I want you to nullify or to take US off your mind. This is
Okay.
how I want you to think about you taking Empower. Even though you are taking Empower, assuming you're just going to get your degree, and just like countries, I don't want to mention countries here, but there are certain countries, once you're done, you pack your bags. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
But I know, of course, the fact that Empower has given you money because they know that they looked at your course, they know it is STEM related, and it's a course maybe that when you're done, you still have some time to stay here. We know that. We know, of course,
Okay.
when we get to maybe the last stages, you know how the process works. I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But this is what I want you to have in mind. Say I'm just going to get my master's in the US and go back to my country. I want you to see your master's degree or your degree beyond just getting a job in the US. And if you do so, it will help you to make a decision. And I'm not here campaigning for Empower, for anyone to take Empower. But that's how I look at it. For me, the fact that I've gotten a master's degree here, what I believe in, and not just because it is from US, because of what I've been able to learn, is that I can get a job anywhere in the world. That's what I believe. This is just my own belief. I believe I can apply to Australia and get a job there. I believe I can apply to UK. You know why? Because of the type of degree I've gotten and where I've gotten that degree. So don't have this. I'm just saying, basically. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to confuse you, but I'm just saying. So I don't want
No, I
this.
understand. Just to
Yes,
take away
like
that the fear.
yes, like no. Of course, you can have that uncertainty thing in your mind, but I don't have that in me. Okay, if I don't get a job, what will happen? Or this, that. The reality about Empower is Okay, anyways, maybe some things I should just keep them. But I've never had a case, except maybe if you have the money, actually. The thing is that you have to communicate. If the job is not there, they're not going to take you to a course study for you to pay the money. It's a process. But I want you to look at it, and let me don't dive into that maybe because I'm going to put this information out there. So if I have to talk to you one on one, maybe I'll tell you deeper. But the reality is that look at getting a master's degree beyond just getting a job here. That's the only thing I want to say at this moment. Maybe that will help you to make a decision. So let's say even if you go to your country, the way you'll be treated, the confidence you have to apply for jobs in your country, getting after obtaining a master's degree here, is high as compared to someone who has gotten theirs in that country, in your own country. Is that not the case? Forget about the
Yes, yes,
experience. You have that
yes,
confidence
yes,
because I have like international certificates and not just international from US. So when you put in your application, the reason why you think there are no jobs in your country or something like that, maybe yes, we know, of course, the way we are all from Africa. We know how things work, maybe connection or this, that. But take connection out of it. If you know what you know, you have the certificate. Trust me, you will get those jobs that you'll be paid really, really well. And because you don't have to spend that much in terms of living, you will live a good life as well. And most of what I tell people, even if you have to go back to your country, even myself, I'm in that situation right now. Let me just tell you. Okay, I've done my master's, I'm looking out for jobs, applying this. So let's say the worst happened. Okay, like I have to go back. What I believe in, I still have like you have like 6 months of grace period for me to actually start paying maybe a huge sum of money. Okay, now I'll still have to negotiate. I will still have to negotiate with MPOWER, whatever it is, because they will ask you, have you returned or whatsoever it is. So if I get a good job, a good paying job, I'll just do investment. So whatever comes from that, I'll use that to pay because I don't want people to depend on like once you get the money that it will pay you, let's say monthly, you will take it and just like so you will just be collecting and paying. But you need to have a strategy. Maybe the first 3 months or 4 months, you'll be paying maybe just whatever amount you'll be able to negotiate. Let's say the worst happen. Then you'll be taking a large part of that money, invest in it. Yeah, I know investment is risky. Everything is risky in life. But so you want to put yourself in a position wherein you don't even have to think about paying this thing because you know you have a source that is already there to help you fill in this gap. So you understand what I'm what I'm saying? Anyway, so
yes, yes.
thoughts I just want to share that with you based on what I am planning to do in case the worst happens. Let's just say. So yes, anyone with yes, Jaja, ask your question.
All right. My question is, I
Hello.
applied for fourth semester. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. So Jaja is that the name?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I applied for fourth semester, but the president said that the visa should be on hold now, and I've not applied for visa. And
Mm-hmm.
how can I cope with the then I'm planning for spring semester. So how can I cope with the studies going to spring or using spring semester since my admission is on fall? Do you understand what I'm
Okay.
saying?
So yes, I know. So have you applied for your visa?
No, I have not.
Okay, that's good news. So meaning your country is part of those is it countries?
Is it?
Hello. Hello.
Is it?
Abubakar, please, speaking with Jaja. So I was asking,
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll come to you. I'll come to you. So I was asking, is your country part of the list that are restricted, or do you just have the fear?
Yes. I've not even checked if the country is part of the
Which
country
country are
that
you from?
Nigeria.
No, Nigeria is not on the list, so I don't
So
think.
I can apply.
Yes, you can. You can apply. Okay, this is one thing. Your faith has to be really, really strong. The whole thing about you can be brilliant, you can have everything, but getting a visa is more than just having everything done. It's more than just having everything. You need God as well. You need to have faith.
Yes.
If I have to explain deeply how I came here, I think my way to US, maybe you should look at that video. I know there are people who have been in horrible situations, but if you actually look at that video, you'll be courageous to take a venture. So it's crazy. And some of you will not even dare. I'm not here on a for the scholarship. Let's just get that. And most of you must have seen, most often I talk about Empower. I use like two loans basically. I use Empower and HB Education Investment. It's crazy, but it pays off.
It's
It pays
crazy,
off.
honestly.
Yeah, but it pays off because the most important thing is fulfilling my dream. And I don't know how I'm feeling right now. So I'll talk about
Yeah.
my masters for the like sometimes, once in fact when I graduated, I was like, I can just take this certificate, go to my village and sleep. I know, of course, I'll wake up tomorrow, start applying for jobs to come back to US. I will come back to this place. That's the thing because it's an investment, you know.
Okay.
So, anyways,
So
uh,
what actually made me to what stopped me from not applying yet is because when I got the admission, so
mhm.
I started applying for Empower loan, and they couldn't approve it on time. So they based on utility bill and thereabout. So after everything, they just approved it, but I've not accepted the loan yet because when I saw the percentage, my heart skipped.
Okay. Anyways, so what I want you to do, or what I would advise, is this: you need to have faith in this whole process. When you go to the counter, you will see Mr. A who is in front of you, denied, and you go there, you will get your visa approved. That's just the thing.
Yeah,
Your story is
I
different from
believe that so strongly.
that's it. That's it. Like your story is different from anyone's story. You know, prepare well,
Yeah,
go there with confidence, present your case. You have to speak. The document don't speak for you. I don't want to talk in detail about visas. I've made some, I think, good videos based on recommendation or what people have been saying. Maybe just check them. And he has specific questions about visas. Reach out to me. I can guide you, give you mock. Sometimes I tend to overdo, especially when I give mock. So if you actually do well, I'm convinced enough, the chances are high. you know. So just be confident enough. Hope if you don't get this time, you always have another time. There is always another time. There is always another time. Get that. It's not like it's a do or die thing. Make the
okay,
effort.
for the
You can
visa.
do everything so far. You can still go there and not get your visa. And the reason being, it might not come from you. It might be from the visa officer. They might not just be in good mood. Anything can happen. They might have stress home or this, that, even though professionally they should not take anything personal to that. But this thing can happen. We are all human beings. You know, be confident
Yeah,
enough, courageous, know that this is going to happen. Pray for it, work hard. Whatever question you think of, look for an answer that is convincing. If you are convinced by your own answer, then that is one step closer to be able to convince the visa officer. But if you think if I give this answer, you have doubts, then try to fine tune the answer. That's what I say. Maybe I'm the wrong person to talk to you about because I inspire people a lot when I talk to. I'm not afraid to take ventures. That's just me. You just have the confidence. Trust me. For me to take like, I know people, so many people have done that. Maybe I don't want to say I'm the only person, but taking like 2 loans to a foreign embassy and still get my visa approved, it's crazy, you know. And
Yeah.
it's not like because I was brilliant or this that. I think God was there because God saw me. He knows what I went through, how much I prayed for it, and effort I put. You know, I did almost everything on my own. Even though at some point, like it was getting like I think 1 week to the visa to the visa interview, I had to reach out to someone, pay some money just for them to give me like mock. And for them, if I had listened to them, trust me, I would not go to that interview because they see that okay, you're going with this amount of money. Why not looking at a university that is cheaper? For me, I said I am going to Carnegie Mellon University, and the reality is that once the visa officer saw the university, she was so surprised. Like, are you going to this university? Because I knew, because I knew the university I was going to, I was so confident to say yes. That was like the end of the interview, you know. And I'm not saying other universities are not important, but again, if I'm taking Empower, I always want to go to a university that I know is known out there. That's the thing I will often say. So I was so confident enough. Yes, I might take huge sum of money, but I believed with this university, they will know that yes, definitely, like you will come out with anyways. So that's it. Let me just stop there. Do you have any other question or someone else wants to ask the question?
Yes.
Please, I have a question.
Yes, Loretta, okay. Give Jaja one more opportunity to ask. Yes.
Okay. So with Empower, because I saw a scholarship in Empower. If
Mhm.
you apply to Empower for loan, can you still apply for scholarship for
Yes, but
Empower?
most often those scholarship you must have been within the system.
Eh?
You must have been within the system, meaning like you must have been an Empower customer. They have even like monthly scholarship they give.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yes.
Yes. They give, of course, Empower gives scholarship as well. But I've never tried to apply to any one of them, basically. And I don't know why,
Uh,
but they give scholarship. Yeah.
all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, Loretta, your
All
turn.
right. Thank you. Thank you. Please, talking about this, the fully funded scholarship, you said if one applies or gets a fully funded scholarship and that the person should, still, hello,
Yes, I can hear you.
okay. So you said the person should still, check the cost of the cost that will be remaining to balance off that scholarship to know if they'll be able to, you know, get a loan to settle it and stuff. So it got me, thinking. Because initially I thought a fully funded scholarship was like a complete coverage of everything, tuition and stuff. So I need a clarification on that, please.
Okay.
Then secondly,
Yes,
okay,
okay. Just Innocent, can you please just mute?
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. Yes, you were about to say something. Loretta.
okay, I have just three questions. Just
Yes,
that the first one.
yes,
Then the
just go
second
on.
one is
Mm-hmm.
talking about the research work.
Mm-hmm.
If one wants to go for a
Research base.
research-based MSc,
Yes.
yes. If, for instance, I'm currently working on um a topic, a research article, impact of learning environments on the academic performance of students.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for instance, if I should do that and I, it's approved in
Mm-hmm.
any of these journals and I get it
Mm-hmm.
approved, like, can I use it for my research work, or should I how do we should I go to the university's website to look up what they need and apply apply to
Okay, I
apply based
understand.
on
I
what they
understand.
are talking about?
Yes, the
Then
next
the third
question.
one,
Mm-hmm.
the last one, this process, this entire process we're all trying to learn,
Mm-hmm.
can it be used for other countries outside the US?
Okay. Okay. So let me
Yeah,
start with
that's all.
okay, let me start with the last one. So I'll do it in is it
Okay.
descending order? Yes. So
Yes, depends.
let me just digress. Now for the last one, yes, whatever
Yes.
you've learned from here,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that as well to apply for almost any scholarship or any country. And
Okay.
that's just the thing. Because like the confidence you are going to have to research universities, you can still use that to maybe apply for fill in any application. Let's just say because of course we have to fill in application here and you guys will see that. So something like that. So yes, I guess the knowledge you have here, you will use it. The knowledge I've learned for like US, I'm using it now to make videos for all other countries as well. In fact, when I was applying, of course, if maybe I don't know how long you've been part of my community, like TikTok per se, wherein I think there is a video I made like universities I got accepted to. So like
Yeah,
Australia,
I've seen
and
it.
I got like for
Mm-hmm.
Australia, but because I was thinking, okay, I'll not get someone, an uncle, and Empower is not supporting people in Australia, uh, because if I had applied, I got the offer letter, and if I had applied for the scholarship, I must have received like 50%, but I was thinking, okay, where am I going to get the remaining? So like countries like Australia, Canada, UK, I
Mm-hmm.
check all these countries, got offer letters from them. But because US, because of this advantage of using Empower, so I had to focus on US. That's the thing, basically.
Okay.
But you can use
All
it.
right.
So now the
Thank
second
you.
one, about the what's the second question again?
The research work
Okay, yes.
must
So
it
yes,
align?
so yes,
Mm,
on the research work, it depends on the university. First of all, as I told you earlier, sometimes before you apply, always before you apply, you reach out to the Gary coordinator. Now, the Gary coordinator will tell you whether you need to reach out to a professor before you send in application. Like if you want to do a research, maybe they will tell you, okay, reach out first, identify a professor, and that professor should be willing to supervise you. Okay, you get like an
okay.
email. Okay, yes, the professor will tell you, okay, yes, I'm ready to supervise you. Now, this is the thing. Let me just do it very short so I don't have to dive deep. Now, if that is the case, this is the thing you should do. Now, you have to go now to the university website, check for the professors, the faculty, look at what they are doing. And if there's anything that interests you, maybe it might not be exactly what you are doing, but maybe closely aligned with whatever you are doing, you reach out to them. And when you reach out to them, you have to put attachments like maybe your transcript. Don't be afraid because maybe your transcript is not like you have whatever degree it is, your CV, and that research
Okay.
that you have already, and explain yourself by the email that I have interest in this area. This is what I have done. I have attachments. Maybe you can look at it, something like that. So that is
Okay.
the case. Now, even if the graduate coordinator, let's say, says that you don't need to identify, just apply, and we'll look at your application. If your application meets the requirement to get a research base, or even as that, because you have to write, most of you have to write like a statement of purpose. It is good that you first of all go to the university, do almost the same process, whether you have to identify or not. If you have to do any write up, be sure. And in fact, this is the thing. Even if you don't have to like you don't have to get um a, a green light from a professor, most often most applications they will ask you, do you already have professors you've identified within the faculty? So you doing that ahead will help you already. So sometimes it's not even one, they will say name up to three, you know so you doing that research helps you, because putting it even in your statement of purpose helps when they read that. Okay. Sorry, guys, I'm having call. I don't need meeting. So that is it. Always check to see what if your aim is to go for a research. So check first, know something about the professors that you want to work with, and write something about them and that their area of interest. Anyways, we'll get to that when we go to university applications.
The line is breaking. You're glitching. It's glitching.
Okay, can you hear me now? Is it okay? Maybe because of this call I just received. So I
It's
connected.
glitching.
Oh my God, I see. This is what I
No,
hate.
I think it's from your end because I can hear him clearly.
Yeah, me too. I think
Okay.
your
I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Yes, sorry. I connected my WhatsApp on my computer, so
Let me
when people
change my
call like
network.
distractions, I forgot I should have just canceled that today. Anyways, so as I was saying, whether you have to reach out or not, if you're going in for masters by research, if that's the area, be sure to check the university and know something about the professors and what's not like knowing their name or this. That's not, yes, it's important, but what interests you about that professor? What is the area of research that interests you? No, but I don't want to know. I'm almost. Don't already. Almost. So know something about their research, and of course, be able to explain what interests you and how yours either closely align with whatever they have done. You know. So that's it. And sometimes it's not like you are going to continue what you've done. But if you see anything that you think you have knowledge of, you will mention that this is something I want to work on under your own supervision. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, you can hear
Oh,
you.
okay. The way you are looking, I thought.
Yes, I can.
Okay. Now the last one, the scholarship fully funded.
It's fully funded.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, if you get, let's say, when we say fully funded, for fully funded, you don't have. I don't know if maybe you didn't hear me properly, but when I talk about fully funded, like you don't have to pay almost anything that is fully funded. Okay. But now you have other ones that they will say tuition remission. That's different. But when I say fully funded, you don't have to pay anything. Let's just get that. But when we say, okay, for some, they will only take out the tuition fee that you have to pay. So if you're coming in, you will be responsible for your cost, your living expenses, something like that.
Okay.
So they will just say,
Yeah, I
maybe
get
you
it.
will see it there. They will say, okay, in the exchange of your teaching, let's say if teaching assistantship or something like that, they will say you don't have to pay tuition fee. So that's the only thing. But when we get to the courses, I think that's something again I should have mentioned even in this presentation. Most often, if you look at US universities, sometimes your living expenses is it's it's more than even your tuition cost. And it's so funny, but that's most times you will see, or if there's any difference, will be just be a difference of $1,000 or $2,000. And I don't know why. But because of housing, you have to pay, and there are other things as well you have to pay for. So sometimes university will just say, I think there was this university, they wanted me to just write GRE exams, so they will give me, I will be considered for, I think, tuition remission or something. So if it's just tuition remission, then definitely you have to cater for your living expenses. And sometimes, if you have to take, let's say, the total cost, um, or you have to take, let's say, 30 units, for you to complete, maybe let's say your masters, they will say, okay, 25 of those units will be paid for, and 5 units you have to pay for it. So something like that, because they how do university come to a conclusion in terms of cost of attendance? It's by unit. So they say, okay, for this particular unit, because they know you have to take like 30 units, they will say, okay, for every unit you have to pay, let's say, $500, something like that. So in that case, if they say, okay, 25 units will be waived for you, don't have to pay for it, then you have to pay 45, which is why you have to understand all of this before you put in an application. It helps you a lot. It save you time, the energy, because you're going to invest so much time, energy just to put in a solid application. And you've done that. Now you have a partial scholarship. You don't know where to go. Okay. So I don't know if that has been
Yeah.
able to
Okay.
clarify your
There's
question.
I have
It
a
has.
question.
Thank
Okay.
you.
As
Thank you
favored,
very much.
you're welcome.
Yes.
Yes, you have a question for me.
Yes, I do.
I can't hear you
Okay.
clearly.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me? Okay. Okay. So I want some clarity. First, there are two basic questions. How I'm pretty new to a lot of all these stuff you're saying. So
Which
I
is good.
want to know how do how do I get to the aspect of the graduate coordinator? How can one really, is it going to be on the website, or how can one really get these people? The
Okay.
person in charge, the actual graduate coordinator. Then secondly,
Mm-hmm.
should I ask that, or do you want to
Ask
answer
ask all
first?
your questions, then I will
Secondly,
respond.
all right. Secondly, now mine is not just a master's, but a master's in business administration with specialty in technology, and that's because of what I am aiming for. Now, is this applicable? And if it's not, how was the, and even if it's not, or even if it is, whichever way, what's the best way? Is it still the same process of I mean, for getting a scholarship, for getting it funded and all of that, and getting the right school as because of the kind of specialty I'm looking for.
Okay.
So that's it, basically.
Are you done?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So let me start with the first one, anyways. So the first one, you said, how do you contact these gallery coordinators? We'll talk about that.
Yes.
I think, I don't know. Let me see. That will be on, which one is this? This is application timeline. This is all about funding and assistantship. I think it must be somewhere, actually. Okay, look at it. They're called email professors. We are, yes. So when we get that will be the four.
Okay.
Yes, we'll look at, this is why I told you, like, if you are actually here and you have your pen, take certain notes, I'm sure by the time we are done, it should be fine to do this whole process on your own without needing anyone. And that's the whole thing, you know. So of course, when we get there, you will know how to basically contact them. But let me just give you a heads up. So you just go to the university website. Most often, once you open your own department, you will see their names boldly written: program coordinator or gallery coordinator, and the number will be there, their emails, because they are like the
Okay.
first people for you to reach out to. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes,
Yes,
I'm
so
there.
now the other one, yes, the process is the same, whether you have specialists. Okay, like for let's say even engineering, there are certain universities. If I had gone to, I think, New York, um, maybe it's not just like civil and environmental engineering, which is general. I must have done maybe in my second semester or last semester, like I have a concentration, let's say structural engineering. Okay, so whatever process is the same, is the same.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else who wants to ask? Okay.
I
So
have a question.
yes, okay. Go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
I can hear you.
All right, all right. So my question is on the introduction part, right? The point number 5, where it says falls versus spring intake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know if you have talked it already or not.
Yes,
I
I
had
have.
this.
I
I
have.
was watching.
I don't know what's
All
happening
right.
with your
Okay. So
background.
I was watching this other video where the person was saying that there is a difference between the spring intake scholarship and the fall intake scholarship.
Yeah, so what's your question? What do you want to know? It's just
Okay, so my question is on that video, he highlighted that the spring intake has more scholarship advantage compared to the fall scholarship intake. I don't know how true is that, if you can clarify on that.
Okay, okay. I'm not a judge here, but let me just tell you. Now, the reason why he mentioned that, because and I know you joined very late, maybe. So,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course, those who were here, I told you that the fall intake you have like it's the main intake. So the spring intake is basically it's more like leftover. Whatever,
All right,
like
all
if they
right.
cannot get students during the fall, they will admit them like the spring, which is why they created the spring semester, in fact. But the fall is the main one.
All right.
Now, the fall, you have huge amount of like scholarship in terms of how many. So let's say if they want to give assistantship position, maybe the fall semester they will say, okay, we have like 10 positions or 20. Now for the spring, you may have five. But because now during the spring, not many students will be applying. That is where maybe the advantage comes in for the spring. Because most people must have applied during the fall. And they will not take fall semesters, spring semester scholarship and bring them to fall. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They have,
I'm
okay, let's
getting.
say
Yeah.
if there are 30 scholarships, assistantship for within a university, within a department, now they will say, okay, 20 will be for fall and 10 will be for spring for any student admitted during the spring. Now for fall, because you have so many students applying for fall, they will not take the spring semester 10 and bring it because they have many students applying during the fall. Now, let's say if they've admitted for the fall, now spring is here, but not many students will apply. And if you apply to that university, then you have an advantage. You understand?
All right.
That
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know maybe that's what that person means by saying you have like high chance of getting a scholarship during the spring semester or something, you know.
All right. All right. All
Yep.
right.
I want to get a
All right. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Yeah,
clarity,
so
please. I want to ask
yes.
clarity. Yeah.
So
Now,
sorry. I'll just try to, after you, I think I need one more question and we'll say goodbye. If you have other questions, you keep them as we go almost every day. When we are done, you guys have the opportunity to ask questions. Okay? Yes?
thank you so much.
Yeah, favor,
Now,
ask,
I want
ask.
to get clarity on. Okay, can you hear me very well? I
Yes,
want
I
to
can.
get clarity on when best to begin scouting for. I understand you said it begins now. As the fall semester begins. Is it August, September, or starts in August?
That's
From
that's
what I
that
wrote here,
that's
and
like
then the
the
spring
that's the
semester
that's the intake. That's the time like school. So if you want to start the
resumes.
process, if you want to start the process, you start even from the whole thing as soon as okay. Because the spring semester starts January. Once they've done their admission, some universities will open their portal for fall semester from February, in fact.
Okay,
So once they've started like January, they are done, school is round running. February, some universities will open their portal. And some do have rolling admission. That means every time you apply, your application will be there. Something like that. You don't have like a deadline or something. We have those universities.
okay.
They admit students throughout. Okay. So what happens once January classes have started? By February, some universities will open their portal. March, all of that. So that's it. Because fall is the time they take so many. And if you can see the difference in terms of the month, like from January to August, it's like 8 months or so. But now from September to December, how many months? I think like 3 months. So they want to give so much
Mm.
time to students for them to prepare for the fall semester, which is why they take so many people during the fall semester because they have lengthy time to prepare. So
So
once,
this is the month of.
so even if
Go on,
it's
please. Sorry.
from February now, it should start. February, you should start looking at universities and see whether they've opened their portal. And sometimes you don't even have to wait for them to open their portal. You get now the university, you check the requirements, you've met the requirements, everything. Now you keep your cautions. What the only reason why you're waiting because you cannot submit application without the portal opening. But to do your research, you can even do it even if you are planning now for the fall. Even now, you should start the process, like getting out universities, look at the requirements, reach out. They will answer your question definitely. The only thing is that if they are into fall semester, I mean, if they're admitting students for spring and you go there and ask question about fall, most often they will tell you, wait when we are done with the spring semester. So we'll have time to answer your questions. But they are not going to say, no, we are not, like they will just kick you out. No, nothing like that. They will just encourage you for you to wait.
So this is month of June. Now,
Mhm.
what semester should one
So the
begin
next
to
semester
prepare
now that
for?
is coming is the spring semester. Spring semester starts January. That's the
Okay.
time like classes run now. And for fall is August or September. Some universities open September, some August. Most often August, the ending, or September, the starting of September. And for some universities, even for the spring, some will be like the end of December and the beginning of January, or within January, most often January. So
Okay, so
just
you mean schools we can't go in for fall at this point, being that we're not in August yet?
mm,
One cannot scout and then maybe
no, you can scout,
register.
you can every time you can start. You can have like 1 year gap and start preparing. So even now you want to aim, let's say fall, which is August there. I mean, when I say August, not this one that is coming now. Or are you mean? Oh, do you mean this one?
Yes, I mean this one that is coming now.
Okay, you can still. The only thing is that because now the deadline, most universities like priority deadlines, and even those to admit students has already
Okay.
elapsed. But there are still
Oh.
universities that are accepting students. Let's just get that. And they are still giving scholarship. Because the thing is that some universities have specific number they want to admit. So if they don't get that number, they will still open their portal. That's how it works.
Okay.
They will say, okay, we need 50 students this year. And if they've gotten, let's say, 49, they still need one person. You can apply even, they just want to see that. The only thing, they want to see that you have enough time to prepare for your visa, which is why they have these
Okay.
deadlines, and of course to give scholarship opportunities to students that apply earlier.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
so let's just
Right?
I don't I don't know. So so guys, that's it. I think we have to end it here, and hopefully see you tomorrow. Of course, I've shown you a snapshot of
Thank
what we'll be looking
you.
at. Okay. So keep your questions and just bring them, write them down. Please take this exercise. Just list if you have time. And I don't want to stress on that because we've not talked about universities yet. But if I have, maybe when we get to the day 3 or day 4, then some of these things you have to do them, and we'll review them, look at them here, make corrections, we do whatever it is. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow. And yeah, bye bye, guys.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much.
You are welcome.
Thank
Thank,
you.
thank you,
You are
thank you.
welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You are welcome.